Man, the lapses in judgment on behalf of Starfleet here is starting to make me, kind of understand why they're so depleted now. I get it. They're so stupid. I get why they're destroyed and they're down to only a few member worlds. I get it. They're dumb. Alright, this is Season 3 of Star Trek Discovery, Episode 9, Terra Firma, Part 1, and welcome to it. We're in it, baby. We're in the endgame. I can feel the last mini arc of this story coming around the bend, and I don't like where it's heading, because it looks like we might be using the mirror universe to resolve it again, like we did in Season 1. To be fair, I liked the mirror universe in Season 1. It was one of the few things that was pretty cool about it. But what was weird was that they abducted someone from the mirror universe, brought them into the Prime universe, so that they could just plant a bomb inside the heart of the Klingon homeworld. So we're back there this episode, and I'm not going to spoil it, because I'm going to get to that part in a moment. At the beginning of this episode, again, I think it feels like the third episode where this happened. The episode begins with Georgiou in some type of medical condition, talking to Dr. Culber, or talking to Michael. This time, she seems a bit more resigned to her fate, that she's going to die as a result of being extracted from the mirror universe. Glasses Man, the guy who wears glasses just for show, because he thinks it makes him look smart, who we seen a few episodes ago and disappeared from the show, but now is back. You know, the guy who was originally interviewing Georgiou? He's basically pointing out the fact that to go through time is bad enough, but to go through time and to come from another universe is really bad. And basically what they've discovered in the 32nd century is that your molecules want to stay where they came from in terms of universes and time. So the added rigor of going through multiple universes and through time is too much for Georgiou's atoms, basically. And she wants to return to her time and place and dimension, for that matter. And this is some kind of time/universe displacement syndrome. And it's killing her. And for whatever reason they want to save her. I still don't get this. If anybody knows why it is that we want to save Georgiou, I'm all ears. I do not understand it. This is the biggest problem now. I've been excusing it in my head, but it's ramping up now, and the little problems are piling up until I can't ignore it. And guys, I have no idea why anybody would want to save Georgiou. The Glasses Man in this episode is the only one making sense. He says he recommends to Culber to put her in a comfortable brig and let her die. Guys, she is the emperor of the Terran Empire of the Mirror Universe who has not answered for any of her crimes. Okay? I know she's from a different universe, but that doesn't mean we have to look after her. You know, she is not a citizen of the Federation, number one. And number two, she has been nothing but a hindrance and a nuisance to the crew. She is dangerous. I'm not saying torture her, but I'm saying detain her. Do what the Glasses guy said. Put her in a comfortable brig. Give her everything she needs until she just expires. That's all you can do. It makes perfect sense. There's no need to punish her further, but there is a need to protect people from her. I have no clue why we're carrying water for this character. I don't know why everybody loves her. I don't know why Saru wanted to see her off when she left on this episode. I don't know why Tilly wanted to hug her. I have no idea why you would want to do that. Because there is a 60% chance that she would just stab you if you tried to hug her. But that being said, they bring this up with Vance, the fact that the sphere data has revealed to the crew of the Discovery that if they go to this planet called Danis 5, they can basically find a cure for Georgiou. According to the sphere data from last season, 100,000 years of information accrued in the sphere that the Discovery computer absorbed, and yada yada yada. The computer knows how to basically save Georgiou, and it says go to Danis 5, and they bring it up with Vance, and Vance is like, okay, he's okay with it. Last episode, they started a war with the Emerald Chain. It's gone now. I figured Saru was going to get chewed out to such a degree in this episode, but Vance doesn't care. Man, the lapses in judgment on behalf of Starfleet here is starting to make me, kind of understand why they're so depleted now. I get it. They're so stupid. I get why they're destroyed and they're down to only a few member worlds. I get it. They're dumb. Like, you have to be dumb to go on a whim, completely on a whim, send your most prized vessel, the Discovery, because it has a spore drive, to save Georgiou, who is the Emperor of the Terran Empire from Mirror Universe, on a 5% chance to save her life. Why? And they even say that the Emerald Chain is ramping up training operations right now. When you need the Discovery most, we're going to send the Discovery to Danis 5 for a 5% chance to save someone that's not from our universe and is trying to kill us probably. Way to go. That makes a lot of sense. But so they spore jump the Discovery to Danis 5. Meanwhile, in the B plot, Adira is complaining that, oh, I messed up something on the algorithm and I can't figure it out. And then Stamets says some technobabble, and then she's like, oh, doy? How come I didn't think of that? And then they fix it and they put it in the algorithm. Basically what they're doing is trying to decode what this distress signal says, even though, in my experience, I've never seen a distress signal contain a message. It's just kind of a distress beacon. You just go there. Like, you don't try to decode it, but maybe I'm missing something. Anyway, they figure out that the distress beacon is being emitted from a Kelpian vessel, Saru's race, and I think they call it, what did they call it? The KSF Kiev? Or Kielf? I think it's called something like that. Perhaps KSF means Kelpian Star Force. Anyway, it's a Kelpian ship, and this, of course, sets Saru's no longer existent tendrils a tingling, because he's like, oh my god, I love Kelpians, and we got to wait till we learn more about this, and try to decode what they're saying, and look at the message over and over again. And basically the message was asking Starfleet for help, and then they found out that Starfleet's best time to get there is 2 weeks. Womp womp. So this ship has been stuck in the Verubin Nebula at the source of the burn for 100 years, right? So everyone's probably dead, but maybe not. And we're probably going to go there in a few episodes from now. I don't know why we didn't go there now. I don't know why we didn't go there now. I don't understand why we're wasting time with Georgiou. I don't know. This is way more interesting than saving Georgiou. But I digress. They beam down Michael and Georgiou to the surface of this planet, Danis 5. And it's like a snowstorm. It's a snowy planet. And that's pretty cool. I always like snow. As did Admiral Senetal. They come upon a man reading a newspaper in the middle of this planet where he should not be, beside a large door, a door frame with a door in it, with nothing behind it. And he's got a hat on. He says his name's Carl, but he seems unsure of that. And he seems a bit aloof, kind of like a Q type character. Or perhaps this is the physical manifestation in the form of a body to represent the Guardian of Forever, if you remember that from TOS. Yeah. So basically, this guy propositions Georgiou and says, hey, go through this door and you'll be okay. Michael thinks this is weird, of course, because you're walking through a door because a strange alien told you to. At least we assume he's an alien. And the sphere data seems to say that this is what you need to do. You need to go through this door. So, what the hell? Georgiou takes her life in her own hands and walks through that door. And what do you know? She goes back to the mirror universe. And that's all fine and dandy. And we have lots of cartoony villainous fun. It's always fun to see that. Like, people torturing each other and playing violent games and just being the evil version of themselves. You really get to chew the scenery in the mirror universe scenes. You know, you really get to ham it up. I bet you the actors had a lot of fun doing it too. Especially Michael. The acting on behalf of Sonequa Martin Green in this episode was so much better as Mirror Michael. I thought Mirror Michael was so much better than Prime Michael. Mirror Michael looked like she was having fun. I believed her. I believed her portrayal as Mirror Michael. Way more than I believed her portrayal of Prime Michael. Am I the only one? Basically, Georgiou goes back, though, to a time before Season 1 of Discovery. So she goes back in time, as well as going through to the Mirror Universe, to the point where the Charon was being christened. If you don't remember, Charon was the flagship of the Terran Empire in Discovery Season 1. So she has knowledge of the future now, and she can take advantage of that. And she already knows that Lorca and Michael are planning on killing Georgiou and taking control of the Empire. And Lorca was, of course, the captain from Discovery Season 1, one of the characters I really liked, and turned out to be a secret bad guy. Great. So, Georgiou takes advantage of this and basically accuses Michael that, hey, you are going to try to kill me. And in the process, Georgiou stabs Stamets and kills him. Mirror Stamets. Because Mirror Stamets was colluding with Michael and Lorca. Which begs the question, how could Lorca, Michael, and Georgiou, and Stamets be present in the exact same way they were in Discovery Season 1 to allow the events of that to occur, if she killed Stamets now and has accused Michael now of working with Lorca? How can... She's altered time. She's, without any regards for the flow of time, she's already altered it, which makes me believe either one, this is not real time travel and it's just an apparition, which is possible, or two, she actually is changing the future. And what's going to happen is she's going to realize that Lorca goes to the Prime Universe at some point, and she follows him there, goes through the anomaly with Lorca, and then goes back to Discovery Season 1, where she should be, and goes on to the Section 31 show. That could be what's going to happen. I'm praying to God that Mirror Lorca ends up on the Section 31 show in that way, because she goes through the portal with him. That would be cool. Or whatever happened to Lorca to send him to Season 1 to begin with. Some type of storm in space, some type of techno-babble, whatever. Maybe it was a green hand, but he ended up in the Prime Universe anyway, as I think Georgiou is going to at the end of the season. So that's all fine and dandy. And the episode kind of just ends. Like, it doesn't seem like it has a good ending act, because I suppose this is Part 1, Terra Firma Part 1. Basically, at the end of this episode, Georgiou is seemingly in the mirror universe. She has Michael down on her knees, and we are now going to alter the events of the past. And we don't know what's going to happen yet with the Kelpian ship in the Veruba Nebula. Much more interested in that than the Mirror Universe plot. We should have just killed Georgiou by now, but whatever. This episode went by really fast, actually. Last few episodes, I felt like I was noticing the time, I felt like I was going, okay, come on, let's go. I was getting bored. This episode, I wasn't really getting bored. The pace felt good. There was just enough action. I was interested in what the next scene was going to hold. I must say, this was a okay episode. Not a whole lot to complain about, apart from just the general Discovery things. At least it didn't add anything new to complain about. Yeah. So, with that out of the way, let's check out my honorable mentions. At the beginning of this episode, the man in glasses, we'll call him, I don't remember what his real name is, or if it was even mentioned, tells us that only one other time has there been a character, or person in this case, who has gone through time and dimension. And he showed an image of this person. I guess it was some type of time soldier who fought in temporal Cold Wars, or temporal Hot War in this case. And he had the TNG uniform on, so I guess he was some type of insurgent from the future, embedded into Starfleet in the past, I don't know. And they talked about how they were petitioning Starfleet, or the Federation, to allow him to return back to where he came from, because of his illness from being separated from his universe and time. But they couldn't do it because this was after all that was banned. So that was kind of interesting. And he had a cool kind of design to him, too. I'll see if I can show you a picture. Booker, having a desire to join Starfleet, seems official this time. He brings it up with Saru. And Saru, a little bit dismissively, tells him that he needs a chance to prove himself. So eventually something's going to happen, and Booker will probably prove his dedication to Starfleet and Discovery. And what's probably going to happen, I'd imagine, is he's going to have to destroy his own ship to save the Discovery or something like that, to get him to have a reason to live on Discovery and then join Starfleet. I think that's what's going to happen. But we'll see. This episode was absolutely filled with cringy dialogue between Michael and Georgiou that I just couldn't stand. I couldn't remember really what any of it was about. I could barely hear it. They were talking so fast. And it was so complainy and whiny and melodramatic. I don't know what it said. And it didn't affect the episode. So, I guess we're square. We get to see the character arc of Philippa Georgiou advance a lot further in this episode because, as you know, Kelpians are kept as slave and as food in the Mirror Universe. And they're basically killing Saru and his friends in this episode. And Georgiou has the pleasure of knowing Prime Universe Saru and lashes out and says, "Don't kill him," making her look weak. But she can't allow Kelpians to die anymore after having seen them in their prime, which is interesting. Kind of made me think. You know, I was wondering if, wouldn't it be cool if we could reform the Terran Empire? That probably won't happen, but it would be neat, because we already have the Emperor going to the Prime Universe, learning the ways of the Prime Universe, softening up a lot, much to her chagrin, and then going back to her universe, and then basically taking Prime Universe values with her. I thought that was kind of interesting. I've never seen that before. She's come a long way. I still hate her. I still think she belongs in the Mirror Universe or in a brig. But, you know, a broken clock can be right twice a day, I guess. Georgiou allows Mirror Saru to survive, given that he becomes her personal spy, to dish out information on Michael and Lorca and their attempted assassination or coup. Not sure why Saru knows all these things, but I guess as a servant, you hear people whispering. The costumes looked a little bit cheap to me. I really loved Culber's costume, though. Mirror Universe Culber. He had like a red uniform with like this cool, hard material chest piece and shoulder pad. It looked really, really cool. Culber has looked slick since he was first introduced, but now he looks even slicker. The costumes, though, I think especially the ones with the gold plating on them, looked a little bit cheap to me. It didn't really look like metal or gold. And Georgiou's costume as the Emperor, or Empress, I guess, looked really cheap. It looked thin and plasticky, and her crown looked really fake. I didn't like it. I would have went with something different than that. Yeah. The gems look like something I would just pick up at a dollar store. They looked fake, and that's not a good look for your Emperor. I would have went in a different direction with it. Maybe it works for you. Your mileage may vary, but I preferred the dark uniforms with the half breastplate and shoulder pad that were in black. I preferred the look of those. I wish that was the standard uniform for everybody. But maybe that's just me. So, when all is said and done, I like this episode because it revisited one of the cool things from Season 1, The Mirror Universe. Are we teasing Mirror Lorca for Part 2? Costumes looked a little cheap, but the effort was definitely there. As with most episodes of this season, we need to overlook many lapses in judgment on behalf of Starfleet, given that helping Georgiou should be of bottom priority. An interesting character journey on behalf of Georgiou saved this episode when she saved Mira Saru. It would be neat if they reformed the Empire with a reformed Georgiou, but I can't see that happening. The acting on behalf of Mira Michael is vastly superior to Prime Michael. Prime Michael should have been a villain. 6.5 out of 10. It's not that bad. Could have been a lot worse. I've seen a lot worse from this season, and I've seen a lot worse from Discovery in general. If this track continues for next episode, Part 2, Terra Firma Part 2, we could see a 7. We could, if it stays on track. But it could go off the rails at any moment. So I'm going to keep my eyes on it, and I'm going to keep you apprised. And this has been Lieutenant Mark, and I'm signing out. See you later.